turbocharged, direct injected, chrome exhausted, ultra heavyweight, medium duty muscle truck. Hey, what's up guys? Gary with Diesel Fuel Network. So how fast is this thing? How much horsepower does it have? How much does it weigh? These are all questions I'm sure you haven't asked, but we're gonna find out. Not necessarily all of those questions are gonna be answered today, as I don't have a scale to go to. It's Saturday. But let's talk about the specs of this vehicle here. As I said in some of my previous videos, 1985 Ford F8000. She has a 3208 Cat, 10.4 liter V8 diesel, direct injection. This particular spec is a 215 horsepower. That's right, 215 horsepower. That sounds pretty low for a 10.4 liter diesel. And well, I guess it is, even for 1980 standards. But in a truck, they were as much as 250 horsepower. That's respectable. And in a Wanderlodge RV, they came intercooled with 300 horsepower. Now that's not to mention the marine spec engines, which were as much as 435 horsepower. And that is my goal with this truck, is to bring it up closer to, or close as I can get to the marine 435 horsepower spec. Now, I've already gone and done not quite a bit. I've done some mild tuning to the injection pump. The RPM, one of the biggest difference between a 250 horse and a 215 horse that I know of is just that the RPM is governed differently. So this was governed 2200 RPM, no load, just rev, free rev 2200. So it hit about 2000, maybe 2100 at the most. I think 2000 really when I would be full on it. And it would, it would start defueling. It almost felt like it'd start defueling right when the boost started to come on. So I got the RPMs going up to 2400 now, 2400 RPM on the governor, which that alone made a huge difference. I was shooting for 2600. So going back to the 250 horse, 215 horse thing, the 250 horsepower truck engines were governed to 2600 RPM. Like I said, I was shooting for 26, I got to 24, one adjustment, put it back together, and that was it. So I'm going to go in there again, and I'm actually going to be shooting for 2800 RPM under load. How much does it weigh? Well, I don't have a scale to go to today, but I'm thinking, my guess is it weighs 9,500. I usually say it weighs 10,000 pounds. I know that I have the original title from the vehicle when it was a dump truck. And it was 11,500 with a heel dump body. I don't know what that dump body looked like, but it's only 142 inch wheelbase. She's a pretty short little guy, so it wouldn't have been, I don't think it would have been too big of a body on there. Probably a short-sided deal. Hey, it's still recording. And yeah, so it weighed 11,500 pounds. I'm thinking it weighs somewhere around 9,500 pounds now. That's pretty damn heavy. And for how good it performs, I'm pretty impressed. But it's got 11R 22.5s on it. And that's the other thing too. It has 11R 22.5s. And it doesn't need it anymore. I mean, 11R 22.5s as opposed to 10Rs. 10Rs are a little bit shorter and a bit narrower. But the biggest difference is, you look at it, they really do look a lot different. 11R 22.5 next to a 10R, it's clearly a much heavier tire. So another thing I do want to do in the future is swap to 10R 22.5 or 10Rs as opposed to the 11Rs, just to lighten it up and see if it'll go any faster by doing that. Other little things that well, it's got 370 rear axle gears, which really that's what makes this truck perform so well. The fact that it'll do basically 75 right now, governed to 2400, is pretty impressive because it was only governed to 2000 RPM, so the 370 gears made sense. and it would do, I think I was doing, I think I had it up to almost 65, or maybe I was cruising 60 pretty consistently when I drove this thing back. And that was it. It was like basically right up to the governor. Now I've had it up to 70, 75, not even maxing out the RPM. So yeah, you go to 10R, 22.5, you go to 10Rs, it's going to drop that. It's going to effectively raise the axle ratio. Like a 370 might then be more like a 390 or a 400 or something. Maybe not that drastic. Let's say, you know, there's math you can actually do on it, but I'm not going to. And it doesn't matter though, because I think the lighter tires are just going to make it quicker. And I'm really going for 1/8 mile performance, just because the thing is so, it's still going to be slow, so an 1/8 mile, it just makes more sense to me. Yeah, I mean, I'm curious to see what this thing would actually do in the 1/8 mile right now. If I had a prediction for an 1/8 mile pass for this thing right now, I would say it's somewhere around, I'm going to say 15 seconds in the 1/8 mile. My goal is 10 seconds, and I actually don't think that would be too hard to get to. Now, the reason why I have a 10-second 1/8 mile goal is just like a Fox body Mustang or an SN95 Mustang will do around a 10-second 1/8 mile stock. Now, I don't know. I think it's possible. Yeah, you bloody guy. So anyway, we're gonna get this big, beautiful beast to be as fast as a Mustang in the 1/8 mile. At least that's my plan. Turbocharged. Direct injected. Chrome exhausted. Ultra heavyweight. Medium duty muscle truck. Diesel Fuel Network. Let's go. You know the deal. You know what? I really don't think this is going to start. It's been a while. And the batteries are from like 2016. Let's go ahead and, yeah, try it anyway. Of course not. Which means I'm probably gonna roll over. how fast it takes to get up to about 60 miles an hour, which more or less about an 8 mile for this thing. Probably don't even do that in 8 miles. A little up and hill, isn't it? it ain't going anywhere near 2,500. Man, that thing freaking isn't bad at all. Why is it so fast? What in the world? Was able to look at the RPM. I'm not even hitting. I don't know if it's like lower than it was or if that's higher than as high as I had it, because it's only going to what I think is about 2,250 RPM. I mean, maybe the lock nut for the adjustment backed off. No, because then you wouldn't think it would just go right back and stay there. Audibly, it sounds to me like it's still hitting the RPM that I remember turning it up to. Like it never pulled like that when it only revved. Like it literally revved to 2 before. Now it's going to like 2,250, which, man, I need to get this baby. So that'll be the next thing we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and test that RPM tomorrow. And then pull this thing back out and see what kind of difference we can get out of it. But before we do that, I want to actually do a timed 8-mile pass. First, I will do a rip by Ryan. All right, well, I got back and I was thinking about the deal with the RPM, and actually it makes perfect sense. It's revving right where it should be revving. So, like I said, I'd set it to 2,400. That's no load, just free revving it, 2,400 RPM. So it makes perfect sense. I'm hitting about 2,200 RPM or so under load. Whatever these are set at, it'll always be about 200 RPM higher, just free revving, than what you'll see under load going down the road. And just for reference, like a naturally aspirated 210 horsepower, for example, they came in many horsepowers, but a 210 horsepower 3208 naturally aspirated revs to 2,800 RPM under load driving, and 3,000 RPM no load. So that's quite a bit higher, and these engines can handle it. There's no issue really, as far as you know, my research tells me, there's no issue with turning it that fast. Yeah, so we'll go ahead and make those changes next time and see how much see what kind of performance we can get out of it then. And actually, it's going to sound a lot different and actually going to sound real sick. So I'm looking forward to that. I guess tune in next time. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. See you next time, guys.